Well, first of all, I'll go through my part, which basically is quite short and quite simple. I'll go through a project overview, exactly how we came about with the information we're about to disseminate. And I will also give you an overview. Thanks. I'll also give you an overview into Guyana. Just a quick show of hands, how many of us are actually working in Guyana right now or exporting to Guyana? Okay, so quite a few people. Okay, so, and there's some of you all who don't know much about Guyana as is, but we are going to take you to Guyana, and we're also going to take you to Suriname this morning. So let's start off with the project overview. This was an investigation taken between August 5th and 16th, 2 weeks, approximately 1 week in each market. The three ladies went about and they collected their information. And they focused primarily on 5 main sectors: food and beverage, which would include things like sodas, sauces and condiments, chemicals and non-metallic minerals, printing and packaging, wood and wood-related products, and miscellaneous manufacturers. How did they go about collecting the information? Well, they had a lot of interviews with government agencies, bureaus of standards, chambers of commerce, and also they would have spoken with distributors, people on the ground. Ansa McCall, I think, was one of the names. They would have also spoken with Rudisa from Suriname. And of course, they actually went into the trade, did their store checks, went into the different retail outlets, supermarkets, collected prices, and got photos, all of which you'll see. Those of you who have not been to Guyana before, it is, one might say, even the breadbasket of the Caribbean. Lots of fresh produce. Starbrook Market, for those of you all who have been there before, is an experience by itself. The municipal markets is also border market. So let's move on. So just some general economic indicators, which I'm sure most of you all would have probably also looked up as well. But we can see that Guyana is a country of little less than 800,000 people. Some even say that there are more Guyanese outside of Guyana than in Guyana. But the capital, of course, is Georgetown. And of course, you know, the Guyanese dollar, there was some devaluations. Now it's trading at 203 Guyanese dollars to the US dollar. And according to GDP growth estimates, we're expecting a 3.7% growth. Inflation has come down to 3.1. And of course, we can mention that the major import partners would be the USA at 27%, Trinidad and Tobago at 16%. Of course, you get from the Netherlands, Antilles, China, and Suriname as well. And what are their major exports? Well, of course, no surprise, mostly sugar, gold, bauxite. They're very heavy into mining, into rice, shrimp. So, and it's surprising that the 6 commodities mentioned make up about 60% of the country's GDP. So they're very, very reliant on those basic commodities, right? So coming along now, we can say that, well, of course, the Republic of Guyana is the only English-speaking country on the South American continent. And the Guyanese cabinet has just recently approved a $2 billion US spend for projects of development nature. These are things like roadworks. There's a power plant, a huge hydroelectric power plant that's coming up quite soon, I think to the tune of $850 million US that is supposed to supply 90% of Guyana's energy needs in the future. There's also improvements on telecommunications and a host of different projects that are coming on stream. So Guyana is of strategic importance as well due to the linkages in energy and the agricultural sector. So generally we can say the outlook is one of a growing economy, which means that there's opportunity, and it has been growing over the last decade or so. The investment by government, by the Guyanese government, is going to present a lot of opportunities. And the key sectors of investment by the government, mostly in agriculture, mining and ICT, international call centers. And of course, we also have to be aware that Guyana is also building linkages with Brazil, in particular, Venezuela, China. And these things are also going to impact on the further development of the Guyana market. So I will let the ladies know. Our next presenter will be Shirley, and she will go into a little more detail. So I would thank you at this point.